When you were a child, apartheid was still a thing.
Yes.
From your point of view, how would you describe it?
Well, apartheid was something that, South Africa inherited from the European powers that occupied Africa, up until about this sort of starting in the 60s, they started to sort of get rid of Africa. So everywhere in Africa, up until about, 65 or so, was apartheid. So if you went to any country, which I did, Rhodesia in those days, Northern Rhodesia, the Congo, it was all apartheid. Everywhere was apartheid. It's just that South Africa put a label on it in 1948, calling it apartheid. But we inherited this in South Africa, we inherited it from the British occupier, or the British government that we had here for nearly, at the time, nearly 200 years. So I don't know if you know, for example, people of color were not allowed into Holland at all, although Holland had many places in the world, like Batavia in the east and all that sort of stuff. Colored people were not allowed into Holland. It was against the law. So even we had a colored governor in the Cape when the Dutch were running South Africa. That's before the British, called Simon van der Stel. He was a mulatto colored. He wasn't allowed. He was the governor of the Cape, and he was a very famous guy. He was never allowed into Holland. So these are things we inherited, and unfortunately, it took time to get rid of these type of things. And ingrained beliefs, had to be put aside. Took time. And today in South Africa, we actually have a situation today in South Africa where, it's like the best it's ever been. We don't have any kind of racism. I've never seen racism. In fact, I'll give you $100 if you can show me, even more if you could show me a racist incident in South Africa. It doesn't exist.
Well, you actually remember when Mandela got locked up.
Yes, I do. I was at Mandela's trial in 1963 when I was in final year school. I went on my bicycle I was interested in that kind of thing, and he was on trial at the synagogue, oddly enough, in the main street in Pretoria, the capital city. He was on trial for murder, the murdering of women and children. And he was sentenced to death. And then the sentence was commuted, which resulted in people literally crying and weeping in the street because they wanted him hanged because of the terrible things that he had done.